Good evening. Welcome to Washington. I'm Brett Baer. The race is on, but the road to the GOP nomination could hit a couple of potholes today. Texas Senator Ted Cruz picked up a big endorsement while his opponents insisted it wasn't all it was hyped to be. And Donald Trump likened his entrance to California's Republican convention to crossing the border after hundreds of protesters lined the streets outside the hotel where he gave a speech. Senior national correspondent John Roberts reports from Burlingame, California.
For the third time this week, Ted Cruz put a hammerlock on the news cycle in Indiana. Governor Mike Pence announcing today he will be voting for Cruz.
I see Ted Cruz as a principled conservative who's dedicated his career to advocating the Reagan agenda, and I'm pleased to support him.
But even as he threw his support behind Cruz, Pence had high praise for Donald Trump.
I particularly want to commend Donald Trump, who I think has given voice to the frustration of millions of working Americans with a lack of progress in Washington, D.C.
As watered down as the endorsement might have been, Cruz supporters breathed a sigh of relief that it came at all. About time, some in California told Fox News. Cruz hoping that Pence's support will lead to a repeat of Wisconsin, where an endorsement from Governor Scott Walker helped push him over the top there.
I recognize the media wants to do what they can to poo-poo the endorsement. It is significant to have the strong conservative governor of Indiana making clear that he is voting for me and he is supporting me.
In California, it was Donald Trump commanding the news cycle, speaking today to the California Republican Party. But the news was mostly about the fact protesters disrupted his motorcade's arrival, forcing him to navigate a series of barriers and barricades to get to the speech site.
That was not the easiest entrance I've ever made. My wife called. She said, there are helicopters following you, and we did, and then we went under a fence and through a fence, and oh boy, I felt like I was crossing the border, actually. You know?
There were clearly issues with crowd control. The protesters broke through a barricade, disrupting the Secret Service's carefully planned arrival. But it was nothing like the violent disturbance after Trump's event in Costa Mesa last night, where protesters clashed with police and Trump supporters. One Trump supporter was injured, his face bloody, a police car smashed, 20 protesters arrested. While Trump and Cruz battle it out in California and Indiana, Governor John Kasich is looking toward Oregon, which votes on May 17th. A super PAC supporting Kasich straining the peace agreement with Cruz, with a new Oregon ad sharply critical of the Texas senator.
After landing with a thud in New York, Cruz can't stop Trump.
While the protesters here in California did not stop Trump, they definitely forced the Secret Service to adjust their protocol. Since Reagan was shot back in the early 80s, the Secret Service keeps the protectees' exposure to a minimum. While Trump may not have been in any danger, his entry and exit to the hotel was definitely more exposed than usual. Brett?
John, thank you.